So we're here with my man Tanner, Cuts by Bird. Just opened up his new shop, The Cage. Where are you at, my man?
I'm located Manor, PA, 72 Main Street. Located around Penn Trafford High School, Norland High School in between there.
How long you been cutting now?
I've been cutting for about 4 years. I've been cutting since I was about 14, 15-ish. So, I mean, I love it, and I found my passion. I'm going to stick with it until, you know, I have 50 shops around the U.S. So.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, so that's your, what's your plan for, next 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
The next 5 years, I plan on every 2 or 3 years opening up another place if I can find barbers to rely on, and eventually open up them a shop, and then another person a shop. You know, I have good opportunities for other barbers out there in the upcoming schools, so eventually I want to get out to them, reach out to them, and see if they want to come work for me for a couple of years. Ship them off to their own shop. They can own it and run it. So.
All right, you heard it from him, my man Tanner. Make sure you follow him on Instagram at Cuts by Bird. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, My Barber Dreams, you got to do that thing right now. Hit the bell so you don't miss a video. Also follow me on Instagram for more cuts videos at Barber Dreams by Riggs.
He's a beast. Let's go. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, dude. That's what we do it for.
Let's go.
Barber life.
Let's get it.
And until the next video, we'll see you next time.
Be young.
Alright, so what are we looking for today? Well, I want a little bit off the top, just trim it up.
Okay.
And then I want the lower fade. Just want to cut kind of like down to here, having some bulk up top. That soft part.
So you like to naturally part this way, not a hard part, but like this like conservative, like natural part.
Yep.
Like a lower, like drop fade, super low, still skin. A little bit off the top, still enough to slick back like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gonna put it on, maybe I'll thin it out a little bit, take minimal length off the top.
Yeah, a little thin.
And what about the beard? What are we doing?
Clean it up. Yeah, maybe thin it out just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a tad.
So I'll just trim it out more than like take length, kind of keep the fullness in there.
Yeah.
Maybe like a design line or something subtle, not too crazy.
Where?
Maybe like one going back like this.
Possibly.
Alright, and that's it. Let's get to it.
Let's do it.
So I really wanted to include the consultation there. I think it's really important that you have a nice thorough consultation so that way your client and you are on the same page. So I'm going to saturate the hair here and get it ready for the thinning razor. So the thinning razor is great for removing bulk, not really taking length, which my client wants. He wants that slick back look. So just doing a little bit of razor and comb rotation as you can see me doing here. And you really want to get that razor at a 45-degree angle, almost as if you're using a straight razor, which you could in this case, but it has a guard on it. So now I'm just getting into the cowlick area here. I usually do that first if I'm doing longer hair like this, because I know if I cut too short into that cowlick, it's going to stick straight up. So sometimes I'll do that right away. So now I'm going to take horizontal sections, and again, it's a light trim, so I'm not taking too much off. In a lot of cases where you have longer hair like this, I will do the top first before the fade, because that way it sets up the foundation and the silhouette so much nicer, which is very important in haircuts, and that will separate you in your haircuts. If you're focused on the silhouettes and the head shape, and your client will notice that too. So this is a great way to set up for the haircut. So now I'm going to cross check here. I took horizontal partings, now I'm going to take vertical partings, and you see I switched up my position there on the head, went to the side of his head so I could get a better angle. And again, I'm just seeing if any hairs stick up or uneven. Kind of just flying through it here, just you know what I mean. It's a light trim, so I'm not worried too much about taking length. But I'm making sure that that part is separated there, and I'm leaving most of the bulk there. I think that's such a nice look rather than shaving all the way up to that part. You know, he's not getting a hard part, but he likes to part his hair that way conservatively, and I think that's such a nice look. So we'll keep all that bulk there. So now I'm just gonna dry the hair, just so again we have that nice shape for the cut, and I can kind of judge it better as I'm getting into the fade. Not really worrying about styling right now. So I'm going to start with my initial bald line here, and notice how I'm really keeping that C cup dark. I really bring that low so you can still see the C cup, because again, this is a low drop fade, and I'm following the head shape, but I'm really dropping that. I want that to be, you know, pretty dramatic. Just doing the same thing all around the head. And this is a fading down tutorial, so I will say that this is going to be harder for beginners to learn, so it's going to take a while, but I promise you, you follow these steps, you go back in detail, you will get this. But you know, this is going to take some time, especially if you're doing a dark and coarse hair like my client here. It is harder to fade down and fade in general because it's just that much more detail. But we got the first guideline here, which is the blade all the way open. I'm using the Andis Masters here. I have a fade blade on this thing, so it can take the initial bald line right out. So you see me going up a little higher with the guideline in the back. It's because it's a lot more coarser in the back of the head. So I'm going to give myself room to take that line out. And I'm just closing that lever little by little until that first guideline is out. You'll notice I'm using the corners of the blade, not really trying to raise the line, just ever so gently getting that line out of there. And a great way to do that is also stretching the skin. As you can see me do that, it just gets slightly closer so I can take that line right out of there. So now I'm going to throw the 2 guard on there. Now we'll start with it open, but I'm going to eventually close it all the way. And what I'm doing here, so now I'm going to start the fading down process. So what I'm doing here is just basically softening the line up as much as I can. Now we jump right into the 1.5, have that thing all the way open, again slightly closing it, just flicking at that line, you know, scooping up in an upward motion. Again, just softening that line little by little. Now I have the 1 guard on there, blade all the way open, same thing, using those corners, and you can kind of start to see the lines getting softer. This is fading down. Now I got the 1/2 guard on there. Start open with that. Again, really stretching that skin, using those corners. Just flicking at that line repeatedly. And again, you'll notice in the back, the guideline's a lot harder to take out because it is coarser. So I'm going to spend more time back there flicking that out. And I'm constantly playing with that lever. Again, going up the guideline, you want to open it all the way, but when you're getting towards the bottom of the guideline, you want to gradually close that all the way. So I got no guard, blade all the way open, and I'm just, again, stretching that skin, using those corners, and really taking that line out. Still a lot more detail work to do, so I'm going to eventually have to fade up since I faded down. That's cross-checking. With fading, make sure you do that all your fades. That'll ensure a blurry fade, but yeah, still a lot more detail work to do. So I'm probably going to still start with a higher guard to prevent raising that fade. Got to stay consistent with every stroke. I'm constantly brushing, constantly going around and checking my mirrors too. So now you see I have a higher guard on there. You know, 1.5 is a great blending guard. That's a good way to start when you're detailing any haircut. And then I'll go down from there. You know, I got the 1 guard. Again, just taking out any dark lines or spots that I see. And then from here I'll jump to the 1/2 guard. And go through the whole system again. But you know, pretty much already went through the system. Now this is all just detail work. So the whole point of fading down is to ensure that super low, like dark fade. Now you could do this whole haircut fading up too, but it won't be the same effect as fading down. So I really just wanted to show you guys a technique that I do, another fade system that I do to really ensure a low drop fade. Again, you don't have to do this system. It is harder to do, especially for beginners, but I just love showing and trying different techniques. So let me know what you guys think in the comments of what you'd rather see or what you'd like to see more of. So I'm going to jump back to the 1.5 here. I start open, then I gradually close. You know, same steps as before. And I'm still using the corners. You know, I'm detailing. I'm looking for dark spots. But I always start with a guard higher than I think what it is, you know. So that's a good way to ensure that you don't raise a fade. You know, if you're trying to get a line out, start with like a higher guard than what you think it is, and then just make your way down. That's fading down essentially. So now I'm doing some shear of a comb with my thinning shears, just kind of making a smooth transition to that bulk at the top. It's kind of softening that area up a little bit. So if you notice, I didn't do the foils in the beginning, so I saved them for last here. I'm trying not to make another line with the foils, which you could easily do. So if you do, you could just go back with your trimmers, kind of finesse that line out a little bit. So that's another good way to keep that fade low, is, you know, doing the foils last. But again, you just have to worry about not creating another line with the foils. So you really got to find what works for you and what system you prefer. Real quick, just removing some bulk, kind of blending further with clipper over comb. So I'm swiping up. Now I'm just lining up the C-cup area there, right into the beard. And those are the gold skeleton Babyliss trimmers. Love those things. Those are the hitters for sure. Comes with a zero gap tool. Highly recommend it. Definitely the hottest trimmers on the market right now. So now I'm going to put that design line in there. Just kind of gliding my trimmers through his hair. Just kind of added my own little sauce on it. And that's what you got to do. You got to have fun. You got to be creative. But I really love how this line kind of fits his head shape and kind of contributes to the haircut. Hair is art, man. You gotta love this craft, and you know, you gotta add your own little twist on it. So I'm just gonna blend out the beard here, using the same steps as you know, the fading before. Start with a 1.5. Again, a guard that I think is higher. You know, I'm going back and detailing with my one open now. Again, slowly closing that blade. I'm gonna throw on that half guard there, all the way open, slightly closing it till it's all the way closed, just flicking at that very top line. And now we got no guard, blade all the way open, slightly closing that. So that is all blended there. Now just doing some shear work again. You want to keep most of the bulk in that beard, so I'm just very lightly, you know, just taking off some of the ends that I see with some shears. So now I'm just prepping his skin with a little bit of aftershave and alcohol for the enhancement here. This is a Tomb 45 cordless compressor with the no drip and color enhancement. I'll put the link in the description for that. Tomb 45 is a great brand. Love their products. And I really just want to make that as natural as possible. It's kind of the point of enhancements. You don't want to make it look painted on. And you can see even through the hot towel here, the color stays on. Now I'm using that Tomb 45 shave gel. Again, link will be in the description for their website and their products. Stretching that skin, using that razor, getting those lines extra sharp, extra crispy. Now I'm using the Companion Clay sample from my Barber brand, the Outfit. The Companion Clay will be dropping soon this month. I cannot wait to show you guys updates and more of my product, the website, and all that jazz. So if you want to learn more information, check out my Instagram for updates. And those are the results right there. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Again, if you want to see more techniques, more videos like this, comment below of what you'd like to see next. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a video. Also follow my Instagram for more cuts and videos. And until next time, I am out.